My name is Manson Fleguel. I'm a director with the Pembroke Area Field Naturalists, and I love birding. I spend a lot of time doing it. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the fall migration and the sort of birds that you find in the area that are going through in the fall. A favorite bird of mine is a common nighthawk. And they used to be very common. When I was a kid, you'd hear them everywhere. They have that big boom and they fly around catching insects. And over the last few years, there's very few of them around. They nest on gravel roofs in like on top of a hospital or on top of a large industrial building, and they lay their eggs there. And they just aren't very many of them around. So in fall migration, which for them is about the middle of August, you will see flocks of them going across here. Last fall I was sitting out on my deck and there were 8 or 10 of them went by, and they do a lot of circling and diving when they're going past. So one of my favorite birds, I guess because they're rare. The shorebirds start migrating in July, and their migration cycle goes right from July sometimes. They're coming from the Arctic, and it goes right from July sometimes right through to about November, early November. And I love seeing semi-palmated plovers out there. I love seeing ruddy turnstones or sanderling, greater and lesser yellowlegs. Last fall there was some willets went through that I missed. I didn't get there in time to see them, but they're so fantastic because they fly all the way from the Arctic right through to Argentina or to warm climates down Florida, on the beaches in Florida. Just fantastic to think that they can do that with their own wings, small birds. And another thing I love in the fall is gulls. During the year you've got ring-billed and you've got herring gulls flying around here all the time, the chip truck gulls downtown. And in the fall, some of the birds that migrate from the north or get lost and come down here from the north, you might find things like gulls that have no black tip on the wings. They've only got white wings. We call them white-winged gulls. And the kind of gulls that are glaucous gulls and Iceland gulls. Those are the two main ones that show up with white wings. Thayer's gull is another one that is a hard one to find. I've only seen it once. That was with Chris. And the best place to find gulls in the fall and find unusual gulls is at a place where they can get food. And of course there's a landfill site at Allison Fraser that you have to drive up to the top of. You have to get permission to go in, drive up to the top, and scope all of the thousands of gulls looking for the 1 or 2 that are white wings. It's fun, and it's another species I like to keep in track of. Another species that pretty common around here are geese. Nobody wants to look at a flock of 400 geese in the field, but I often do, because in among that flock of 400 there may be some unusual species, or some of those geese may be tagged. They may have been tagged when they were younger, when they were flightless. During the summer they are flightless, and they might have been tagged somewhere quite a ways away, and we find that the tags might be on their neck where there'd be a number on it, or on their wing the odd time, and if you can get that number and report it, that's kind of interesting for Canada geese. The other geese that we're looking for are the snow geese, which are white geese with black wingtips. Not quite as big as the Canadas, but they're always unusual around here. And last fall I found a couple of greater white-fronted geese they have an orange beak on them. And they're about the size of the snow geese, and they're quite unusual here. We've only had 2 or 3 reports over the years for them, but something that you're looking for, something different. And there are some people who haven't seen them yet on their life list. And the last goose that we found last fall that had never been in our area or recorded in our area before was a Ross's goose. Smaller than a snow goose, white with black wingtips. The difference between a Ross's and a snow goose is that a Ross has just plain lips here on the side of the bill, and a snow goose has lips, black lips on a pink bill that you can see from quite a ways away. So that's one of the diagnostic features. I love birding. Geese are another one of the birds that I love to look at.